In this video, we present some of our project plan best practices. Learn and apply these principles, methods, and tools, and you will improve your project results. Too often teams fall into the trap of putting the cart before the horse. Creating and publishing the schedule is not the first task. Resist reacting to the pressure of publishing a schedule prior to understanding the project. Your initial schedule is the schedule for developing a documented project plan. Your priority is to create a written plan that describes the vital elements of the project that all key parties have read and agree with. Tailor the content and amount of detail to meet the audience's needs. In some cases, a one-page list of bullets may be enough. In many cases, the clarity of information will evolve during the early phases of the project, so creating the documented plan may be iterative. These bullets summarize the typical definition of a project. It's a sequence of connected activities that has one goal or purpose within a specific time and budget, expected to meet specifications, and is a temporary endeavor. We offer a simpler definition. Projects create deliverables. A deliverable is a thing. It's a noun that currently does not exist. Or projects modify or change existing deliverables or things. Here's the typical definition of project management. It's the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet or exceed stakeholder needs and expectations. We'll build a more practical definition. What's a stakeholder? A stakeholder is someone who has a vested interest in the project. We are all stakeholders somewhere. What do we as stakeholders have in common? Stakeholders are people. What do people tend to do when describing what they want? They change their minds. Now let's reread the definition of project management. It's the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet or exceed people's needs and expectations who change their minds. The solution for dealing with this potential moving target is to follow a process that incorporates the principle of do a little work, gain agreement, do a little work, gain agreement, and so on. What are the typical project problems? Do this exercise with your project team. Facilitate a brainstorming session to identify typical problems they have experienced. Write each specific problem on an individual post-it note. Position like problems within a column. Create a label for each column. What's the common theme throughout all the post-its? We do this exercise at the beginning of all of our training. Regardless of the audience, public courses at UNH, on-site courses with senior management, middle management, individual contributors, or a mixture of various levels. 2/3 of the post-it notes will be items that are people-related. These are really symptoms, not problems. The real core problem is the lack of following a defined project process that everyone is aware of and has received training. The people in your finance department have been trained on and follow a defined business process for paying bills and processing customer invoices. Yet most companies do not have or do not follow a project management process across the company. What's the purpose of any business project? The purpose of a business project is to change a business result. Results are things we can measure. Revenue, expenses, defects, employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and market share. How do we change business results? By changing human behavior, We want people to use the new solution, the deliverables, in a particular way. How do we change human behavior? By continuously implementing projects that create desirable behavior change. How do we continuously implement projects that create desirable behavior change? By following a business change process. Most organizations have defined processes for running the business. Best-in-class organizations also have defined processes for continuously changing and improving the business. Why do organizations need to continuously change? Have you ever heard the statement, if it's not broken, don't fix it? Well, it doesn't have to be broken to be obsolete. An 8-track audio tape player in perfect running condition is no longer in demand. The universe is constantly changing. We're part of the universe. Customer needs are constantly changing. If you're not moving forward, your competition is, so therefore you're going backwards. The laws of physics apply. Standing still or remaining static is not an option. If you're not creating continuous desirable change, you risk becoming obsolete. So now here is our realistic definition of project management. It is your organization's business process for creating continuous desirable change to ensure your organization's ongoing sustainability. Following a project process will produce consistent results. The ideal process starts with your strategic plan, then business plan, then initiatives. Initiatives contain projects. Projects are never done for their own purpose. They need to support the organization's goals and strategies. If this top-down flow isn't the case in your company, if it feels like you have more projects than you can possibly complete, or if you're not sure who's doing what and how all the projects fit together, then start with the projects and work it backwards. Create a list of all projects, department as well as cross-functional. Align projects within initiatives, and then link the initiatives to the organization's strategies and goals. Now prioritize the initiatives and projects, and stop or delay the ones that are less important. If you're not following a process for commissioning projects, you will typically be attempting to do more than is possible. This is our 6-phase project process. It starts by gathering and understanding customer and organizational requirements and recognizing that they may change as the project progresses. The labels for each phase describe the work. Definition phase, define the project. Evaluation phase, evaluate the details. The arrows between each phase and the customer and organizational requirements indicate the go, no-go decisions to be accomplished before moving to the next phase. Applying this constant check and validation will enable minimizing surprises as a result of stakeholders changing their minds or the business environment changing as projects progress. The design phase, design the solution. Development phase, develop the solution. Implementation phase, implement the solution. Post-op, assess if we produce the expected results. Each phase has specifically defined steps. As you apply this process, feel free to tailor the process by combining, eliminating, or even adding additional steps based on your unique project's needs. If you're starting a critical project and did not receive adequate information or direction, you may require a phase 0 or pre-launch phase. Our web and Smartsheet-based project plan guide start with a pre-launch phase as well as a combined design development phase. This is a view of the high-level steps within each phase. Definition phase, commission the project. Develop the project description. Create the work breakdown structure, or WBS. Develop the initial schedule. Gain approval to go to the next phase. Evaluation phase, design phase, development phase, implementation phase, and post-op. Now we'll expand the definition phase to 7 steps. Our project description template expands it to 20 steps. The key deliverables of the phase include the project team, project description, work breakdown structure, initial resources and communication requirements, schedule, and budget. Develop your project team by understanding each member's thinking, communication, and learning style, including your own. Are you predominantly left brain or right brain? Communication conflict occurs between different styles. Search the internet for Myers-Briggs or DISC tools to assess and work with the various styles. The ideal team will have diversity across the various styles and the flexibility to move outside of their comfort style depending on the situations encountered. If just one member is new to your project team, take the time to review and agree on the team's operating procedures. Every project needs a work breakdown structure. We strongly recommend facilitating your core team in creating the initial WBS with post-it notes before putting it into any software. The WBS is a picture of your project. The deliverables or nouns that are large can be broken down into subdeliverables, which are also nouns. Not all deliverables need to be broken down into subdeliverables. Deliverables and subdeliverables are created by doing work or tasks. Work should start with a verb like identify, create, establish, produce, and so on. The start and end dates for the tasks are entered into your schedule. All work must be included in the WBS, including the work of creating the plan, facilitating team meetings, and so on, i.e., the project management work. In order to ensure it's manageable, we suggest keeping your WBS to 3 levels: deliverables, subdeliverables, and tasks or work packages. There is a video in the project plan guide that describes in detail how to create the WBS. There is a go, no-go decision at the end of each phase. The purpose is to ensure agreement on the work accomplished and the work coming up next. It's also an opportunity to acknowledge and validate any business changes that may have occurred. To simplify your project plans and improve project results, train your employees in following a defined project process that incorporates the principle of do a little work, gain agreement. Do a little more work, gain agreement. There can certainly be much more detail within most projects. Our project plan guide will walk you through each step. This was an overview of the key elements to help provide a foundational framework.